Hey, Coach, how are you doing? Thanks so much for joining us.
Doing well. How are you guys?
We are doing swell here. I'd like to just start off by talking about the fact that you guys returned 87% of your scoring from last year. That's huge. That's an astronomical number right there. How huge is that for getting ready for the upcoming season?
Well, I think it's a testament to, maintaining a lot of our players. We have three kids that went through COVID with us, and then we've, maintained a lot of other young women that haven't jumped into the portal, which I'm really happy about. So anytime you can bring back scoring, anytime you can bring back, a veteran team, an experienced team, I think that you really embrace that moving forward.
Hey, Coach Tammy here. So great to see you. First of all, I love that. I love that sweatshirt, just that color and that exude. I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm gonna have to. We're gonna have to share that. I'm gonna have to get me one of those. But I kind of want to talk about the preseason. You guys got 6 first place votes. UC Irvine 5 first place votes right after that. Just some competitive teams at the top. You've been at this a really long time. You are a veteran winning coach. You know how to put wins together. You know how to get to the NCAA tournament. And understanding this league, nobody probably does better than you. Tell us kind of what needs to happen for Hawaii with all of your pieces coming back together, especially a healthy Deja Phillips. That was such a devastating loss for her last year in the championship. What has to happen to be able to have the season that you envision?
Well, first off, I've been doing it a long time, but the consistency with my coaching staff is probably why we have stayed on top for as long as we have. I'm really fortunate to have coaches that have been with me 5 years plus, and I think Alex Delaney has been with me 12 of my 13 years. So when you get a consistent coaching staff, then you don't have to do the teaching of staff that a lot of coaches have to do, and I will attribute that. First off to why we have been so successful, and of recent. Um, the Big West is competitive. You've got Jen that's been in here, I think maybe a year or two longer than me. Tamron's come up the reins quick, and she's done an amazing job with that team. And then you've got a bunch of new coaches that we don't know much about, and so I think that you have to do your homework on every team every night. You have to do a great scout. Any team that takes a night off is going to get beat. I don't care if you're playing number 1 or number 8, 9, or 10. You're going to get beat. So showing up, doing your work, taking every possession serious, keeping that intensity and trying to get better every game is what you're really trying to do, because at the end you want to get to the tournament, win the tournament, and go postseason.
What's been the biggest focus this offseason for you guys, or an area that you feel like you've really improved in?
Competition. When you have a team that returns as many players as we do, there's a tendency for them to sit back and get a little complacent. And so we have really preached about the competition in the gym has to be great, that any given day anyone can start for this program. It doesn't matter if you're a freshman coming in or you're a senior returning. If you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you're going to sit your butt down. So we've really preached intensity, competition, celebrating each other, communication, all of those big things for our program that have mattered in the past. We're going to continue to work on those.
What are the ways that you've tried to instill that competitive mindset? Have you ran certain drills or done anything kind of unique to instill that in the team?
I think that when you have a veteran team, they identify what needs to be done. I had a conversation with our vets the other day that it was time to start moving and grooving a little bit, that they had taken some time off and they needed to be better role models for our incoming freshmen and returning sophomores. And that there was a lot of expectation that, on them to continue to represent our program the way they have in the past. And just because they've been starters and have been in postseason, to not rest on that. We've got a really talented incoming group that we're excited about. And I think that our returners feel that. And so every day in practice, we haven't had to coach effort. We have not had to coach energy. Once in a while, we have to coach a little bit on the communication piece, but the energy and effort every day in our court has been exceptional.
Coach, something very special about Hawaii and the women's basketball community. You guys, your fans show up. They root for you. It's a great community. You've done a great job, you and your coaching staff, at cultivating that, but we also know your players have as well. You mentioned this veteran squad and some of the talent that you have. coming back, and I kind of want us to help us understand what you're trying to do for the community and what you're trying to give to them in terms of putting a real good product out on the floor, because I know that you really believe that that's what they deserve.
We love our fans and our fans love us. We are the only Division I sport in Hawaii. We are the only pro sport, if you will, in Hawaii. And the last thing I want to do is waste people's time, because I think beyond money, time is the most valuable thing anyone has in their life and what they can give. And so when we have the opportunity to do a community service, when we have an opportunity to go, out and read to kids or do a shoe drive for homeless kids, go out and do guest appearances, we're going to do those things to give back to our community. We're going to pay it forward. And when we get on the basketball court, we're going to compete. We're not going to embarrass ourselves, but we're not going to disappoint our fans. And our players take that really personal, that when we're on the basketball court, we're going to play hard. We're not going to be disrespectful to the game. We're not going to waste people's times. And so I think our fans know that. They know how much we care about them. I've been here for 13 years, and I've established some pretty good roots here. And the kids on the team understand that. Like I said, we've got 3 girls that have been here 5 years, and they could have easily jumped into the portal and didn't. And the fan base here respects that. And I'm expecting that our attendance this year will probably be higher than it's ever been. And I think that's a tribute to where college women's basketball and WNBA basketball are, but it's also where we are within our community and within the Big West.
I know you obviously have a good amount of big-time returners coming in, but you mentioned there's a group of incoming players who you're really excited about. And I know it's most likely very much locationally based on this, but I know you have a handful of recruits coming in from Australia and New Zealand, and I'm just wondering how important your recruiting down under has been over the years.
Well, culturally, we're a fit. They come to Hawaii from either Australia, New Zealand, and they feel very much like home here, from just the way that the people are, the way that our community is, the ohana that we have here, the food, the music, you name it. It's very, very similar. And we've gone to Australia and New Zealand to recruit. We feel that connection. And so when we've had young ladies that have come over here, it's been a no-brainer for them to, join our program. And having the 2 young ladies coming in from New Zealand with Victoria Tamilo and Rebecca Moores, we're really excited about those 2 young ladies. They are very, very talented. They take the game serious. They want to represent their country one day. And I'll just say Danny. I won't try to pronounce her first name. Danny Kujovic and Kira May Philamu from Australia. They also take this serious. They want to represent their country. They want to see Hawaii continue to win. They want to go back home and see those little girls and little boys excited that they're home because of what they've done here. And then we have a senior transfer, 1 year only for us, and that's Mia Huilia. She's from Alaska, transferring from Portland, and we're really excited to have her as well. She has roots over in Maui, so she'll be playing in front of some of her family this year. So just 5 really talented, really excited about incoming kids.
Something to get excited about, too, is the fact that, and I've followed her along, Jovi Lefotu, and Hawaii's sister combo of Lily Wahine Kapu and Jovi Lefotu. These 2 are sisters, and they are poised to make their on-court reunion here. Talk about the injury, Lefotu, and she's a sophomore, redshirted last year, that knee injury. How great is it back to have her in the guard rotation for you, which I understand she did when you guys went on your tour to Japan in June?
Yeah, Jovi's special. She sees the game very, very different than most players, and I think she sees plays unfold before they happen, and her ability to distribute the ball where it needs to go and timely is really fun to watch. And then when you get Jovi and Lily on the floor together, they really almost act like twins. They have that sense about where each other will be on the floor. And that's been really fun to see. And, that injury it took the life out of all of us that night. And I think everyone saw Lily's reaction even more so than Jovi's. And I don't think there's going to be anyone more proud and more happy that Jovi is returning than Lily. They're a great sister combo. They're great teammates. A lot of times you get that weirdness with sisters, and they don't have that. They're just great teammates, and they celebrate each other as well as their team. And we're really looking forward to having Jovi on the floor this year. She will absolutely give us some great point guard depth.
You mentioned Mia, too, as someone who you're excited about, your transfer from Portland State, as someone that you're excited about seeing what she can do this year for you guys. What does she bring to the team?
man, she brings pace. That girl flies. She flies down the floor, and she really likes to facilitate. She's not afraid to draw contact at the rim. She gets after it defensively, and she has some experience. That's the best thing for us, is she comes back in a position where we can play her at a combo, play her at the one. She really brings in some good experience for us on the floor. We want her to elevate her voice a little bit. I think that will come with time, but her pace is tremendous.
So, Coach, if you could finish this sentence for us, that'd be great. Hawaii women's basketball will advance to the NCAA tournament if we do, and I'll let you take it from there.
If we work. We have to work. It doesn't matter that we're number one. It doesn't matter what we have returning. I know how good Irvine's going to be, and Davis is going to be, and Long Beach, and some of these other teams where we just don't know what these coaches are going to do, other than that they've got a really good resume. And there's a lot of respect for these incoming coaches this year. We have to work every day. And if we take days off, like I mentioned earlier, we will get beat. And we don't want that kind of locker room. We did not like the way it ended last year. Davis played better than us, and we had a bad day. We don't like the way that felt, and there's a little bit of motivation to get back into that championship game. Obviously not turning the ball over and rebounding and taking good shots. Those are the things any coach is going to say. But when it comes down to it, we got to work. We have to compete every day.
Does your team have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder now heading into the season?
I think you can spin it any way you want, right? Tammy, you've done this for a long time, and I think you spin it, whatever way benefits your team. I do feel like this group was very, very unhappy with the way it ended last year. In just, obviously Deja's injury didn't help, and we had a couple of other kids that weren't at their best. Bottom line, like I said, Davis just outperformed us. These guys don't want that. So there is probably a little bit of a chip of getting back to that NC2A tournament. That's what everyone's playing for.
Coach, if there's one thing we know we can count on from you, and thanks again for joining us tonight, is that we know that you're going to be competitive. We know you're going to put a great product on the floor, and growing the game of women's basketball is in your heart. And Talia and I love that, because we love basketball. We love women's basketball. We love where it's coming. We love watching it be where it is. And you've been a big part of that. So thank you.
Well, I appreciate your guys' time today, and Tammy, everything you're doing, both personally and for the game. I have the utmost respect for you, and Talia, good luck in your career here. But all of us want the same thing, and that's great product and to continue to grow the women's game. And I think we're all doing that. So I want to thank the Big West also. Field of 68. Thank you, guys.
There he is.
Yeah, we were saying you got a little less hair right now than when I saw you about a year ago. Having
the gray,
more gray, but you're not catching me, so you're good. You're good. What's it like? Seriously, what's it like these days? Because retention is so difficult, right? We know that, and obviously NIL plays in all this these days. Kids see other kids leaving and having success, and they think that's going to be them. Like, how hard was it? And I know you lost a bunch of guys to graduation as well. But how hard is this changing culture? Because this isn't, when you got into this game, this isn't what it was.
Yeah, this is year 22, and it goes fast. And obviously, the landscape of college athletics has changed significantly. I think the best way I can answer that is you could be one of those guys who sits there like the old man and, back in my day and all this stuff and whine and complain. I kind of go the other way. You navigate it the best you can for where you're at to stay consistent with who you are, how you want to run your program with the Hawaii values. And I like where we're at. I like where we're headed. We haven't been one of those teams for those reasons that have been decimated by the portal. Obviously, this year we lost some guys, but that mostly was our strong senior class. But it's an exciting challenge, and we're looking forward to it and kind of putting our time into how to attack it versus whine and complain about it.
Well, hey, Coach Ganot, we got to give you your props. I've told you a million times how much I appreciate your teams. You guys are always fundamentally sound. You actually use big men in the post where a lot of teams don't. You out-rebound teams. You take care of the ball. You shoot it well. You score it well. You guys have had 7 straight winning seasons and back-to-back 20-plus winning seasons amidst what a lot of people don't realize. You've had a slew I mean, more than the average bad luck with injuries over the last few years. And the last couple, 2-3 years, you've had some real veteran groups, high retention rate, which is, kind of something doesn't happen these days anymore. But this year is different. You only have one returning starter. You brought in a few transfers. You got a bunch of newcomers. What can Rainbow Warrior fans expect to see with this year's group?
I think similar. I expect us to be good once again. I mean, there's a stretch when we were stuck on good, and in the last 3 years we won about 60 games. So we've, I think, gone to very good, and now can we make that next step and break through? And kind of, obviously we've been to the tournament, won in the tournament, and going through the challenges of what we inherited to the challenges of COVID. And I always say the best moment will be going through all that and getting back there and then beyond and sustain excellence at the top. And very hard to do with kind of the changes like we talked about in college athletics. But I think the fans can always expect, we have a style, a blueprint for how we run our program, how we run our offense, defense, the glass, and we'll wrinkle it for the strengths of our personnel. And so that won't be any different. We'll work hard, we'll get on the floor, we'll win loose balls, we'll scrap, we'll claw, but at the forefront of everything is everything we do as a team. Our culture is about team. Offense is about sharing, defense about having each other's back, rebound is everybody doing their job, and really good high character guys. We do clearly have some new faces, but we like where we're at. We like our the guys. A lot of times people make predictions on what you have coming back and what you have coming in. I always say, like, it's the improvement of what you have coming back, the improvement of what you have coming in. And I know on paper, look, you lose your top 6 scores, that isn't something on paper that would be a recipe, but I am excited about the development of those guys. We brought in impactful transfers, and we've had a great blueprint for success with transfers. So here comes Gitas from Xavier, who's been an impactful player for a good program and a great coach. Tanner Christensen is an established low post threat, averaging 12 and 8 on a UTAC Tech team. Marcus Green is a 15, 16 game scorer. And obviously those guys are learning a new system. Jerome Palm has been a part-time starter at Valpo. So, we expect Akira Jacobs, Tom Beatty, guys like our returners to make a jump and those new guys to make an impact.
Eran, who is the guy? If there's going to be an all-league guy on your team, who do you think it's going to be? I mean, obviously, again, you got these transfers coming in that you don't know until the lights go on. Obviously, they've done it at other programs, but is there somebody that you feel like can be the guy, or is this going to be a far more balanced team?
I think we've always been pretty balanced, and obviously we've had 1 or 2 guys that maybe have separated. I think this year more than other years, you'll see that as the season goes along because of the new faces. Like Justin McCoy is a good example. Last year, new system, new role, more minutes, and as the season went along, made his jump, was an all-conference player. I don't think you can really judge teams or players until everybody's in shape or comfortable, and we better be in shape. So guys are now, trying to get comfortable with the system, things like that. But I see Tom Beatty making a real jump there. Throwing Tom Beatty and Akira Jacobs as freshmen last year really helps him for this year. Obviously, Akira Jacobs coming off an Olympic experience. But, as of today, here we are in mid-October, I see Tom Beatty position himself for something like that. Tanner Christian has been knocking on the door, and I think he's made a jump. Our big kid coming in from Utah Tech. Those two have probably separated. Obviously, Marcus Green is a guy who can really, score. And a lot of times those guys get recognition for that. I think we all know the best players on the best teams get that recognition. So those are the guys I think that have the talent to do so. Certainly Gitas. I mean, he's got a guy who's had a couple 20-point games at Xavier and now is going to play a more prominent, consistent role for us. At a position, Jack Purchase, Kamaka Hepa, Justin McCoy, Zigmars Ramo. We've had a lot of all-conference guys at the 4. So, I think it's great for competition, see how it plays out, but those guys kind of stand out as of today, and I'm kind of excited how that could evolve or change as the season goes along.
A lot of pride from the people in Hawaii. I mean, you guys are Hawaii athletics as a whole, are the pride and joy of Hawaii as far as sporting on the island. 2-part question for you. One, I know Hawaii has its own unique culture. My question for you, Coach Ganot, do you think Jeff knows what Huma Huma Nuku Nuku Apua'a is? Number one. That is the state fish of Hawaii.
I think he knows. I'm going to give him credit, but I don't think he can pronounce that ever again. You did a great job with it.
Huma Huma Nuku Nuku Apua'a. It's the reef triggerfish. State fish of Hawaii. Come on.
Did not know. I did not know.
I wanted Jeff to know. Yes. So good.
Now I know.
But the real part of the question is, it's awesome who you guys bring into the island as far as college basketball standpoint. The Diamond Head Classic is coming up again. You have a great group of teams coming in, but you're also hosting Top 10 North Carolina come here November 22nd. How excited are the locals about this?
That's incredible. I mean, I think, like you said, the return of the Rainbow Classic, we moved it several years ago to the tip-off, and it's in year 58. I mean, that's the longest running tournament, and it's got a lot of tradition, a lot of history. And here comes, a Diamond Head Classic again with another incredible field. And now we host North Carolina top 10 team Friday night on their way to Maui. And the interesting thing behind that is, we played them in 2016. We scheduled the game right after with Coach Williams, literally that day for 2020. And then we had 2020 COVID deal. And so we're playing a contracted 2016 game in 2024. It feels a little